I am going to give you 12 tips on how you could be an organized teacher. And that way you can experience a lot of success in your classroom, whether it's this coming semester, trimester, or next school year. I am coming to you as a former classroom teacher and a current school principal. Want to give you some hints and some tips, things that have actually worked for me that I can now share with you. Starting with the classroom setup. So you have to take into account what's going to happen. Organization of the classroom begins before the students even walk in. So just always visualize, what do I want the kids to do when they're coming in? Do I want them to line up outside the door, which is the perfect thing to do? Do not let them in. Have that procedure, that organized system right from the get-go. Don't just let them come and go as they wish. Have them line up in a row or two rows. Explain how they're going to do it, rehearse this with them. When they come in, what do you want them to pick up? What do you have at the door? What do you have on the board for them to do? So the more you have this structure in place, the better your classroom management is going to be, and the more learning is going to take place. All the tips I'm going to share with you are coming from a book that I wrote a couple years ago. I will have the link to it in the description that you could check out because it speaks with a lot more detail than what I'm sharing in this video. Lesson planning is another huge piece of the puzzle when it comes to teaching and having good systems and organization. So what you want to do is have a good setup for what you want to do Monday through Friday each week. What I used to do is my PowerPoint presentations were my lessons. And so it wasn't really for the students as much as it was for me. Every lesson had a DNA, like a do now activity or a warm up. There would be checking for understanding intertwined in that. There would be guided practice and then some kind of a closure and independent practice work. So you want to have this for every single lesson because, again, that structure that you give kids, if they know what's expected, they're going to succeed. Somewhere on the classroom walls, make sure you have a place where you're writing down the date, what upcoming things you have coming up, like exams, quizzes, project due dates. Have your learning objective, and depending on where you live, your language objectives. This is a place where not only you can watch to see if you're doing what you set out you're going to do, but also for the students to refer throughout the day, throughout the lesson. Now, if you're an elementary teacher, you're probably going to say, well, I have science and history. Am I going to write all that down? Yes, you're going to write all that down because that's what's going to help you stay organized and the students stay organized. The classroom itself needs to be highly organized. You don't want to have stuff all over. The room needs to be decluttered because if kids see clutter, then they're going to also add to that clutter. The room has to be very organized, everything sorted, everything labeled, and not a bunch of stuff just sitting around. Now, again, you might say, well, I'm an ASB director and I'm a yearbook person and it's natural for me to have a lot of stuff. No, find a place where everything could be neatly stored. If that means you have to buy some shelves and have labels, then do so. But things have to be organized in order for you to demand the students to also be organized when they're in your classroom. Have some long-term goals, some not only personal goals, but also professional goals. What do you want to achieve as a teacher this year? So make sure you have some goals written down. And again, if you get the book, there are some examples there of some SMART goals that you could set, some really good ones that are like more practical in nature. So much of organization is tied to classroom management, and that also has to do with your rules and expectations for behavior. Make sure you come up with this in the beginning of the year. Every quarter, as much as you can, try to remind students of what those are. And also don't hold back. Like, don't say, if a student is calling names to another student, right? You can't just keep saying, stop doing that, because that's not a good enough consequence and they're going to keep doing it. So follow those rules that you write down consistently. That is a form of organization in the classroom. So if you do name calling, you were not being respectful, I warned you once, the second time you're getting a 5-minute detention or a 15-minute detention. Believe it or not, those small things are a lot more consequential for the students and they do follow through on their expected behaviors after that. Grading can consume you. Grading is very time consuming. So what you want to do is have a system set up for what works for you. My suggestion is, as the students are doing their warm-up when they walk in the class, if they have homework or if they have any of the independent practice that they were supposed to do the day before, if you have them take it out, just walk from one side of the room really quickly and scan and give them points, give them tallies. Keep like a clipboard, and you can just do a tally real quick. You don't have to grade every single assignment because that's going to be super time consuming. And you could do the same for like work that they turn in. Let's say you're a math teacher and you assigned 8 problems. Choose 2. Choose only 2 to look at and grade, whichever ones you think are going to give you the most bang for your buck. Out of those 2, see how the kids did. If you see that they missed like the 3rd problem a lot, right? Then what you want to do is put that for a warm up for the next day. That way they could try it with friends, and that way you could go over it with them as a whole class the next day. The organization or the setup of the desks and the furniture in the room matters. When I was a classroom teacher, I removed my teacher desk because that prevented me from sitting down when the students were there. Okay, so a lot of teachers tend to go to that cozy corner. They tend to navigate to their desks instead of walking and being engaged with the students. That's what they do, and that is not effective. You have to be engaged with the students. Now, when it's your prep time and things, or it's after school, or it's before school, you don't have to have a teacher desk. You could sit at any of the student desks and get yourself ready for the day. And then you arrange the seating of the students in partners, in group format if you'd like, in 3s and 4s, and that way you have even more space to walk among them. I have links to some other videos that you can check out in the description of this video, and I will catch you in the next one.